Nintendo news to talk about, including a new Legend of Zelda game on the horizon, a big Nintendo game, and also Nintendo using AI, and so much more. Let's get straight into the video. So, over the last couple of days, or should you say hours, and there's been some discovery online that has led many players to ask the question, is Nintendo using AI in their new My Mario picture? If you look at this image right here, you can see that the mom's thumb is a little contorted, but it will appear that this has not been AI generated, or at least it's not, because YouTuber by the name of Game Explain has proved that this isn't AI generated, so that must be a great thing. But if Nintendo were to use AI generated things in their games, it's probably the time to do it now. I'm not saying that the use of AI is necessarily the best thing for gaming as a whole. In fact, it's probably the worst thing. But what's going on right now with the AI boom, it wouldn't be too surprising if Nintendo themselves start to use AI for a bunch of different reasons. Now, moving over to a brand new game. And we know that 2026 has some games, but it's not necessarily the big games. There's been even more leaks that point towards a brand new 3D Mario. If you've been a fan of this channel, you'll know that I've been talking about 3D Mario for the longest time and how there's a big chance of seeing it in 2026. Judging off of this leak slash rumor, it seems like Nintendo is working on something to do with Mario. Now, this of course could just be a spin-off of the tennis game that we are getting, or this could be leading into a different Mario game, the mainline 3D Mario game. Now, would this be Super Mario Odyssey 2, or would this be Super Mario 3D Land Plus Plus 2? Who knows, it could be something very different. It could be in the terms of New Super Mario Galaxy Deluxe 2, or it could be something completely different. I think that the next 3D Mario game is fastly approaching, and this is great. Now, jumping over to another story that we have to cover. The controversy for the Nintendo Switch 2 controllers. Now, many of you don't actually like the new controllers for the Nintendo Switch 2, and honestly, I can see why. Because they don't look much different to the standard Switch 2 controllers. Plus, you only get the little color around the rings when you're using it in handheld mode or it's inside of the dock while charging. It doesn't really make the most sense to have that. Most players have wanted, however, these D-brand skins on their controllers and wishing that Nintendo would do that. But I have something to say. Maybe Nintendo will do something at some point, because we know that it's the 40th anniversary of the Legend of Zelda series this year, which means usually in some massive anniversary, they will do a big Joy-Con reveal or something special. If you don't remember, in 2021, we did get the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. So just depending on what game we are going to be getting this year, it could be the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD or 4K. It could be the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. It could be a double pack. It could be a number of different reasons. So if Nintendo does something like this, it could just be, let's just say the left side will be Wind Waker Joy-Con, the right side will be Twilight Princess Joy-Con. Now, usually Nintendo will do something special, so I wouldn't worry about this much. If you look at the first season or the first year of the Nintendo Switch, you didn't really see much in terms of Joy-Cons until later we started to get more and more colors. We started to get more and more decals on your little Switch controllers, which honestly I wouldn't worry about it too much. I think Nintendo is planning something up their sleeves, so overall it is definitely going to be a very interesting thing. One other thing that I wanted to mention, it's gotta be Nintendo has added new Fire Emblem music to the Nintendo Switch Music app, or the Nintendo Music app. So go and check that out. If you're a big fan of Fire Emblem and you're doing some task or chore or whatever the case may be, well then there you go. You can listen to some awesome Fire Emblem music. Now jumping straight over to one thing that's been spreading across the internet like wildfire is Baldur's Gate 3 releasing on Nintendo Switch 2. Well, the CEO has confirmed that this is not going to be the case. So yeah, if you wanted Baldur Gate 3 on the Nintendo Switch 2, well, looks like you're going to have to get it on a different platform because it won't be coming. This might be disappointing to some of you, but I guess it makes sense because they don't want to re-release a game that's at least 2 to 3 years old by now. So hey, hang in there. One more thing that we have to cover is a special Wii U Devkit Pro controller has been found, and honestly, this is really interesting. If you're a fan of the Wii U and wanted to know more of the history on that, it seems like there's a brand new, or should we say, brand new find of an older Wii U Devkit Pro controller. So I think this is honestly really cool, and more discoveries will probably come out of the blue. Moving over to Pokemon Pokopia. Now, if you're a fan of Pokemon Pokopia and you're not sure if you want to pre-order the game, or you already determined that you will be pre-ordering the game, maybe it's best to check out the Pokemon Center, because if you're a fan of plushies, well, you are able to get yourself a Ditto plushie for pre-ordering the game there. So overall, I think that this is definitely one of the best pre-orders for this game, because usually if you go anywhere else, you just get a pin, a little booklet, or something that has completely no sense. But right here, you get a beautiful little plushie that is a Ditto, and honestly, this would make me so happy. So consider to check out this Pokemon Center if you want to get yourself Pokemon Pokopia, plus a free little Ditto. Moving over to something that I found very interesting. So we've been talking about a lot of new games, remasters, and remakes, but since it's the 40th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda, or some point, Nintendo has trademarked The Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes. Now, this was, of course, the game on the 3DS where you had the 3 links and you had to solve puzzles. This could be a potential return for this game. Now, this definitely would be very interesting, and honestly, I would be pretty happy to see it, because then you can play with your friends as a multiplayer Legend of Zelda game once again. I think that this is definitely an interesting side of it when you really take it into consideration, because what other games will Nintendo want to release for this 40th anniversary, or this special anniversary for the Legend of Zelda series? I think definitely Triforce Heroes could come back, or it could be something completely different. We haven't really seen a brand new sort of spin-off Legend of Zelda game, or not Hyrule Warriors, but just like a cartoony little fun spin-off game in quite a while. So maybe now's the time to see something like this return. So anyways, what do you think about all of this news? Do you think you're really excited for the future of Nintendo? Or do you think it's a little bit scary out there? Things are starting to change. Things are starting to go dark. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day. And consider to hit the like button, maybe subscribing if you are new. And I really appreciate it. So have a fantastic day and see you in the next one.